I suddenly woke up. I found myself sitting upright in my office chair. I turned my head sharply. Some colleagues were still intently staring at their computer screens. In the otherwise quiet office, the keyboard emitted a soft tapping sound. I sat there. I was so shocked it felt like an eternity had passed, until it is finally digested. This is not a dream. I'm back. It seems that even fate can no longer stand idly by. It gave me a second life. I swore an oath right then and there. This time, I'll stay as far away from Audrey Vance as possible. As much as possible. We will become strangers. Ships sailing at night. At both ends of the earth. I opened my laptop. My fingers hovered above the piano keys. I wrote my resignation letter. But then, memories of my past life flooded back like a tide. A dazzling display of running. I remember that day. Large scale summer job fair at the end of June. A mentally ill patient broke free from his mother's guardianship. They stole a knife from a fruit vendor's stall. Then he rushed into the crowd. The conference center was packed with people. The students scrambled to escape, but to no avail. Too many people have fallen. Their future flowed like blood onto the smooth floor. At last, the attackers walked straight toward our company's booth. His gaze was fixed on our CEO, Audrey Vance. Everyone else was so frightened they couldn't move. But I am not. Without hesitation, I rushed to her side. The knife pierced my abdomen. Even so, I still clung tightly to that man. After the chaos subsided, I was rushed to the hospital. The blade tore my spleen apart. They had to remove it. Just when I was falling into despair, Audrey Vance proposed to me when I was convinced my life was over. Right in front of everyone. She agreed. She will take care of me for the rest of my life. It feels so unreal, like a scene from a movie. But I agreed. After we got married, Audrey took meticulous care of us. She almost insisted on feeding me. She enjoys every meal. Because my spleen has been removed. My immune system collapsed. I have a persistent high fever. Temperatures often soar to 100 to 103 degrees Celsius. Audrey would stay by my side all night. Bring me water and medicine. At the time, I thought, I want to marry a woman like her. This means that my ancestors have blessed me. I feel like I've won the lottery. But I didn't realize this until I was on my deathbed. I understand the truth. She didn't marry me out of love. Even out of gratitude. She married me for the fame my heroic deeds brought her. It opened those doors. And the business transactions it has completed. Every day, Audrey Vance once wished I had died that way. She's finally free. Let it happen. She threw away the strong medicine. The doctor prescribed me life-saving medication. But what she gave me was something else entirely. They're all cheap fakes. She bought it from who knows where. No wonder I only lived for 10 years of my first life. She orchestrated all of this. That woman is a venomous snake. Therefore, I will escape from her for the rest of my life. I had to. Back to the present. I lifted my shirt and touched my stomach. No unsightly scars. My spleen is still inside me, safe and sound. I still have a chance. This isn't just about me. I originally intended to ensure every bright young man who died at the job fair. He was given a second chance. I closed the draft of my resignation letter. I will stay for now. If I give up now, I don't have enough resources to stop what's going to happen. I can't do it alone. I need help. I have made up my mind. I picked up a pen and paper. So they began to sketch out a plan. Just then, my colleague Dave. He came over and patted me on the shoulder. Leo, you're even following slack. Your boss keeps tagging you like crazy. I felt a sharp pain. I took out my phone. Really? Audrey Vance sent multiple notifications. Why did she call me to her office? My mind was filled with questions. I took the elevator upstairs. The moment I stepped into her house, Audrey suddenly raised her head. Her gaze locked onto me. Her gaze was intense. My heart, the traitor, began to strike my ribs. She is still as beautiful as I remember her. Her long, wavy hair framed the perfect face. It may be carved from marble. No matter what she did, she took care of me for 10 years. Anyone with a heartbeat will have some lingering feelings. When I saw her again, I couldn't help but want to cry. I took a deep breath. Force yourself into a calm state. Miss Vance, you want to see me? Audrey seemed to snap out of her daze. She gestured for me to sit on the sofa. And they poured me a cup of tea. Alarm bells rang in my head. I learned my lesson. I paid for this with my life. What kind of tranquility lies hidden beneath that gentle exterior? A woman so cold-blooded that she would kill her own husband. I stared at her with a cold, detached gaze. Audrey sat down opposite me. her voice very soft. You've been working at the company for 2 years now, Leo. I would like you to be in charge of this year's summer activities. The job fair left me even more confused. Now I'm even more confused. In my past life, job fairs were managed by the Human Resources Department. My department, sales volume, only helpful for areas. As the proverb says, when something is unbelievably good, normally it is. I hadn't even thought about it, Miss Vance. I appreciate your kindness, but I know my limits. I am not qualified to assume such an important responsibility. If that's all, I should go back to my desk. But what she said next stunned me instantly. I wasn't asking Leo. I tell you, this job fair is crucial, and I've thought about it carefully. You are the only person in this company. I believe he can handle it. My resolve wavered. I was just racking my brains. Find a way to utilize company resources. Now she placed them on a silver plate and handed them to me. Beautiful. If this means saving those children, I can handle some interactions with Audrey Vance. I must remain vigilant at all times. I gritted my teeth, nodded, and agreed. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Ms. Vance. Back to my desk. Audrey posted a company-wide announcement on Slack. I was a project manager for the job fair at the time. She labeled everyone to make sure they could all see it. Dave rolled the chair over. An expression of disbelief crossed his face. Man, we have been working hard for many years, but I have never gotten a job like that. Your bosses put you in charge of the job fair. What's next? A promotion? They will receive a generous raise and then marry a rich man. The beautiful CEO rode off and disappeared into the sunset. A bitter smile appeared on my lips. Just like last time. After I married Audrey, everyone thinks I'm the luckiest person in the world. No one knows how my story ultimately ended. If they know, my short life was ended by Audrey herself. I don't know if they will still be so jealous. Never mind. I don't have time. I have more important things to do. That afternoon, I drafted a plan. All relevant personnel were added to its WhatsApp group. We sent them the list of required supplies. The chat room was immediately flooded with a large number of questioning messages. I requested a stab-proof vest, cut-resistant gloves on riot shield. Human Resources Manager. A man named Mark thought I was joking. He demanded a meeting and forced me to explain. I agree. I'll think about it. I need to come up with a decent excuse. Persuade them. To my surprise, when I walked into the conference room, Audrey was there too. Mark was furious. He accused me of abusing my power. I know he's just angry because the project was assigned to me. That should have been his. I told him to calm down. Then he looked around at the other team members. My expression was very serious. This is expected to be the largest graduating class ever. 10 years later, that place will be turned into a zoo. It's better to have these things on hand even if you don't need them. It's much better than needing it, but it is not there. Mark is about to explode. But Audrey raised a hand, signaling for the room to quiet down. We decided to adopt Leo's plan. Everyone was wearing a vest. If you think they are ugly, put on a coat. The room was completely silent. I was just as surprised as they were. I prepared a whole bunch of excuses, but before I can use any of them, Audrey made the final decision. I didn't want to miss this opportunity, so I continued to push forward. I also recommend we always do some physical training before the event. Maintaining good physical fitness can save lives in times of crisis. That's when the team completely collapsed. Come on, Leonardo. Please spare us. 8 days' work is tiring enough. No need to add mandatory exercise. You can't tell us what to do. Use our private time. I raised my hands, trying to join the conversation, but the room was already filled with complaints. It was Audrey who brought order back. She placed her knuckles on the table to bandage them. I support it. During the period before the opening of the expo, everyone can leave early to participate in paid workouts. The gym is full. The company will bear the costs. I was completely stunned. I have absolutely no idea what happened. Since my rebirth, Audrey seemed like a completely different person, a complete stranger. But that doesn't matter. I can't be bothered to think about her. I left after the job fair ended. We will go our separate ways. I will never see her again. Just then, under the conference table, Audrey placed her hand on my thigh. Go ahead and do it, she whispered to me right in my ear. You can do whatever you want. I will protect you. I shuddered violently. As if bitten by a snake, I abruptly pulled my leg away and stared straight ahead. Refused to look at her. Audrey's smile froze, turning cold and hard. Leaving the meeting room, my colleagues were all looking at me with strange eyes. I know what they're thinking. But what does that have to do with me? After everyone else has left work, I stayed to refine the plans for the expo. Whatever Audrey's reasons for supporting me, I have no reason not to make this plan flawless. Exhibitor booths need fencing. If the plexiglass is not strong enough, we will use steel roadblocks. The cost is Audrey's problem. My only concern is how to save the most people. I have no idea how much time had passed by the time she walked over. I placed a cup of coffee on the table. The exhibition is still a few days away from starting. Leo, you need to rest. Her gentle and considerate voice sent chills down my spine. This perfectly recreates my life over the past 10 years. She once deceived me with the same gentle tone, until the day I die. I looked down at the coffee, and the images of those discarded medicine boxes. The image of the trash can flash through my mind. My heart feels like it's beating slowly, torn apart in agony. I avoided her touch. My voice became tense due to suppressed emotions. Thank you, Vance, for your concern. But I won't die from overwork. Audrey said nothing. She just sat quietly next to me, looking at me. Her face was like a blank mask. Her eyes sent chills down my spine. I can't take it anymore. I slammed my laptop shut and got up to leave. She linked arms with me and followed me. The buses have stopped running. Let me take you home. I shook off her hand again. My voice is like ice. Don't create trouble for yourself. Ms. Vance, I have legs. Audrey suddenly stopped in her tracks. Her face was full of confusion. I walked away quickly, almost running away, desperately trying to escape her gaze. Why did she do that? This life. We had no reason to meet. However, she got entangled with me again. I don't remember how I got home. I stumbled into the room and collapsed onto the bed. However, she's still there. In my dream, Audrey lay in my arms. He was saying something in a low voice, but I couldn't hear him. I kissed her desperately, until I felt my own tears awaken me. I angrily wiped them away and then looked out the window. Daylight broke. That afternoon, we all get off work at 4 o'clock. My colleagues were absolutely ecstatic. Earn money while working out. Who wouldn't be happy quickly? The stadium was filled with their shouts and laughter. They competed to demonstrate their abilities. 10 minutes later, I turned off the treadmill. Then I got out of the car and took a breath. Just then, Audrey walked over, held up a small towel, wiping the sweat from my forehead. In that instant, I lost my way. Her upturned face seemed to merge with the dream. But when the scent of gardenias wafted from the towel, I suddenly came to my senses. I abruptly turned my head away. The Yanders didn't seem to mind. She handed me a thermos. You shouldn't drink ice water, right? After exercise. I added some electrolytes and taurine to it. This is good for you. I refused to look at her. I glanced back. She saw several men giving her smug smiles. I don't want to cause trouble. I pushed the bottle away and whispered, Thank you, Miss Vance, but you don't need to worry about me. When I am thirsty, I know I need to drink water. When I'm tired, I know it's time to rest. I'm not a fool. After saying that, I turned and left. Audrey stood there, looking completely bewildered. Her face was filled with heartbreak, like an abandoned child. My heart clenched suddenly. But I immediately remembered what she had done. In my past life, this woman likes to play the victim, manipulate others. Later in the changing room shower room, a few guys quietly walked up to me. Their voices were full of sarcasm. I never knew you had this skill, Leo. Make the boss look like a little dog that's been kicked. Wipe away sweat, and enjoy our specially made water. Do not rub it. Another person said. Some of us can only dream of having that kind of good fortune. I retorted. My tone was sharp. If you really want her water, just ask her for it. Let's see if she'll poison you. They all burst into laughter and then wandered around, still joking. I also have my own doubts, and I am very confused about this. But it's best not to think about it. How could I fall in love with the woman who killed me? But Audrey did not give up. She seemed to have completely lost her abilities, understanding rejection. She kept following me. One day, he brought me lunch. Then he told me to take a break. I started to completely ignore her. All my attention was focused on the upcoming job fair. When the organizers gave us the green light, set up our booth, I rushed to the conference center. Audrey came with me. She saw me standing there. My eyes were red and swollen, and bloodshot. He took my hand and pulled me to a nearby chair. Then she walked behind me. Then they started massaging the tense muscles in my neck. I know how much this means to you, Leo. But don't try to take all the responsibility on your own. I will always be by your side. I didn't take her words to heart at all. My mind was completely occupied by a terrible thought. What if I fail? What if I can't stop this attack? Unable to save those children. The day is getting closer. The pressure is mounting, almost crushing me. Audrey's actions did not put me at ease. But it is quite the opposite. It pulled me back into that excruciating pain. My past life. At that moment, something deep inside me snapped. I suddenly stood up. She abruptly shook off my hand. Audrey, what exactly do you want from me? Do I really have to explain it in the most unpleasant way? Before you finally leave me, I will shout. I don't know what game you're playing, or those twisted thoughts in your head. But let me do one thing, Crystal. We have no future. Audrey looked stunned, her mouth open, but he didn't say a word. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She wiped them off fiercely with her sleeve. Then he grabbed my arm and dragged me to a corner. I broke free from my restraints and turned my head away. She grabbed my shoulder. She pinned me against the wall with her body. She looked up. She glared at me through her tears. Leo Carter, the day you died, you told me you don't want to be my husband anymore. I thought you were delirious due to a fever. But you're serious. We have been in love for 10 years. Don't you have any feelings for me at all? I gave you my whole heart. What did I do wrong? It makes you hate me like this. Tell me, so I can truly feel at ease. Then it suddenly dawned on me. Audrey was reborn as well. She knows everything. Anger erupted in my chest. I roared. My voice was hoarse. Audrey, if you truly love me, why did you kill me? Audrey looked at me. It was as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. What did you say? I killed you? Her voice trembled. I was so angry I couldn't even open my eyes. I tried to push her away. But she wrapped her arms around my waist, like a crazy woman. Refused to let go. Tell me, she screamed, how I killed you, waiting for you day and night. That was murder. The more I struggled, the tighter she held on. In despair, I suddenly raised my hand, tangled in her hair. I kissed her fiercely. Audrey paused for a moment, then her lips parted slightly. Meet my kiss. I took the opportunity to bite her hard. She cried out in pain, and her arms fell limply to her sides. I took a step back, panting heavily. It was all over. At the moment I died in my previous life, my voice was unremarkable. I told you back then, if there is an afterlife, I will not be your husband. Don't look for me anymore, Audrey. We have no future. I turned and left, leaving her calling my name. She choked back tears, her voice hoarse from sobbing. I did not look back. I returned to the booth and observed the workers complete the installation of steel road barriers. That's why she's so supportive of my plans. She always knew that she killed me in her previous life. But I think she did a good thing in this matter. But this time, my life no longer belongs to her. I fell into deep thought. Dave will take over my shift. He hesitated for a moment, then leaned down and said, Hey, buddy. I just saw the boss run out of here crying. I called to her, but she kept walking. Did you have a fight? I glared at him fiercely. I don't care whether Audrey Vance cries or not. I wouldn't care at all if she suddenly died. Dave shook his head. He muttered under his breath. I don't understand why a woman like her would be attracted to a stubborn man. You will like your. She is absolutely gorgeous. If I had a girlfriend like that, she would definitely be very rich. I'd rather slap myself twice than. Have you ever argued with her? His words stirred a spark of anger within me. It's like hearing others talk about my things. That's all. I glared at him fiercely again. Then they left the conference center. Audrey's car is gone. She really left the heat. The dry wind makes people feel depressed. When I returned to the office, she was no longer there. I sat at my desk, staring blankly ahead. Honestly, isn't this exactly what I wanted? She disappeared from my life. So, why do I feel these complex emotions? This feeling of emptiness. It's like a part of me was cut off. It's really over, isn't it? On the day of the job fair, it began. Just like last time, the hall was packed with people. The students surged in like a tide, filling every aisle. I looked into their bright eyes. The hopeful faces and the pressure in my chest intensified. In the last few years of my previous life, I have met some of these mothers. Those who lost their children that day. They are not even 50 years old, but their hair had already turned white. Their eyes were empty and lifeless. My current thoughts. The ability to save those parents. That unimaginable pain. Let my blood sing. At 10:37 the incident occurred. Several screams came from the entrance. A person wearing a dirty T- shirt staggered into the hall. He looked around in horror. His eyes were filled with fear and confusion. The fruit knife in his hand trembled violently. The students were in a panic. I tried to back away, but the crowd was too dense. They were wrapped. Without hesitation, I climbed over the fence of our booth, pushed a student away. He stood directly in the man's path. His gaze immediately locked onto me. He pointed the knife directly at my chest. I've been through this before, but looking directly at the blade of that knife, I was still very scared at the time. But I can run. This is my chance to change everyone's destiny. The students around us were surprisingly bold. Seeing me block the attacker, they took out their phones and started recording. Get out! I screamed. I waved my arms wildly. Go, everyone, come back. My shout seemed to provoke the attacker. He lunged forward. He slashed me with a knife. I had no time to hide. It was a chilling moment. I saw the knife tip coming at me again. But, just as it was about to connect, a figure suddenly darted out from behind me. It was Audrey holding a red shield. She held it up in front of me. Her voice trembled but remained firm. Leo Carter, your goddess has come to save you. I really want to slap her. At this very moment, I'd like to quote a cliché movie line. I snatched the shield from her hand. I grabbed her by the collar and threw her behind me. I was in a standoff with the attackers at the time. He slammed into the shield. Screams echoed through the hall. I used all my strength to push him away with my shield. Then I hooked my leg around his leg and tripped him. When he fell, I pinned him down and pushed him to the ground. The knife clattered to the ground. I caught it, then threw it out of the entrance. I yelled, "Help!" My colleagues finally recovered from their shock. He jumped over the obstacle to help me hold that person down. Some brave students also joined in, etc. His limbs were firmly pressed to the floor. But I forgot to bring a crucial rope. I shouted for someone to help me unbuckle my belt. Audrey reappears. She was holding 2 pairs of handcuffs. Pink handcuffs. Now is not the time to be picky. I've accepted them. The man's wrists and ankles were immobilized. He's terrified now. He lay motionless on the ground. It's finally over. I sat on the floor. He looked towards the entrance, utterly exhausted. Some kind people are helping. The attacker's mother, walking through the crowd. Her hair was gray. Her face was covered in tears. She looks exactly like my parents from my past life. It's really over. Chapter 5. Audrey kneels beside me. Her hands roamed wildly over my body. She choked up and asked me if I was hurt. I looked down at myself. There were no wounds. My spleen remains intact. Audrey wrapped her arms around my neck. Then she suddenly burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably. I started pushing her away. But when my fingers touched her back, I simply can't bring myself to do it. I gently patted her shoulder. Anyway, I'm leaving soon. This brief and tender moment. It might be the last punctuation mark. In the 10 years of her previous life, police arrived at the scene and took the attacker away. They temporarily closed the job fair. Ask our team only. Several student witnesses stayed behind to testify. Issue a statement. An officer asked us why we had so much protective gear. I told him the truth. We anticipated a large crowd and want to ensure the safety of graduating students. He nodded in agreement, but then his tone changed. Where did you buy these handcuffs? I'm terrified. Turning to look at Audrey, she immediately pointed at me. My husband secretly slipped them in. I put my bag in there this morning. She said it expressionlessly. He said we might need them tonight. I felt extremely ashamed. Everyone in the room was staring at me. A knowing smile flickered in their eyes. The policeman's gaze shifted back and forth between her and me. Cleared his throat. He asked a few more questions and then left. The job fair for the day has ended. When my colleagues were backing up, they kept glancing at me. They had mischievous smiles on their faces. I'm too lazy to explain. I will be leaving the city soon. Meaningless. However, Audrey was overjoyed. She invited all company employees went out to a celebratory dinner. Relieve stress. I did not refuse. Pity the nightmare that has plagued me for 10 years is finally over. The dark cloud hanging over my heart disappeared for 10 years. At that moment, even her smile seemed so beautiful. That night, everyone has had a bit too much to drink. My colleagues said goodbye one by one and then left, until it was just me and Audrey. We returned to the empty office. She was clearly drunk. She wrapped her arms around my neck and wouldn't let go. She rubbed her cheek against mine. We've been married for 10 years. We are an elderly couple. But when she sat on my lap, the aroma of wine mingled with the scent of her gardenia perfume. A familiar warmth surged through my body. She rested her head on my shoulder. Her eyes were unfocused as she whispered in my ear. You big jerk. Why are you so stiff like a block of wood? Don't you remember? You like to grab my hair and pull my head down. This all has to end. I took a deep breath and pushed her away forcefully. Audrey thought I was going to do something else. She even tied her hair into a ponytail. But I just stood up. I'm leaving now, you should call an Uber. It took her a while to understand what I was saying. She stared at me incredulously. As she did this, her face showed complete confusion. I've always been this proactive, she stammered. You still treat me the same way. How should we count the 10 years we've been together? You were reborn. It's as if you've forgotten everything. Did you ever really love me? I almost answered her. But doing so is pointless. My mission is complete. I said softly. It's best if we don't become husband and wife in this life. I don't want to ask, or rather, I'm afraid to ask. I'm afraid to hear that woman-only answer. I can't stand it. Since we came into this world, I don't need to add another scar to my life. Perhaps when I am old and frail, with white hair, lying on my deathbed, I can still retain some beautiful things. Audrey's idealized memories. I walked out of the office. She watched me leave, her eyes filled with solemnity, a sense of bewilderment and sorrow. I couldn't sleep that night. Memories of the 10 years we spent together are churning in my mind. My eyes burned from the tears that hadn't yet fallen. I opened my laptop and wrote my resignation letter. Severing the relationship completely is the only way to end the pain. I must have fallen asleep on the table. The shrill ring of my cell phone woke me up. It's Audrey. They told me to put on a suit. Head to the conference center immediately. I quietly changed myself, looking at myself in the mirror. Everything is over today. When I arrived at the job fair, I noticed that my colleagues were all dressed very formally. A sharp suit paired with perfect makeup. The situation is different. My colleague Sarah told me what happened. A video of my heroic act filmed by a student. It went viral on TikTok overnight. A local news television station is coming to interview us. She showed me her phone. This is a video sent by a student. The person standing closest to him at that time. The number of likes reached a staggering 15 million. This means it may have already been viewed 200 million times. A sense of peace washed over me. In my past life, Audrey married me to use my fame to advance her career. This is my chance to pay off my debts. I will take this interview opportunity to attribute all the credit to her. This will be my final gift. This marks a perfect 10 to our 10-year marriage. The reporters and photographers have arrived. First, I interviewed my colleagues. They all spoke highly of me. I wish the floor could completely swallow me up. When it was my turn, the reporter asked Audrey and me to appear on camera together. I don't know this reporter, but I know Audrey. She made this. She took my arm. Nothing happened between us last night, yet we were smiling as if everything was normal. The reporter began to tell Mr. Carter's story. What were you thinking at that moment? What gave you the courage to stand up? I cleared my throat. All of this is thanks to Ms. Vance's leadership. Without her guidance, I could never have that kind of courage. She's a kind and brave person who always teaches us. Some things are worth fighting for. You should be willing to sacrifice yourself. Protecting vulnerable groups. As you can see, she was the first to charge into battle yesterday. The reporter hadn't even had a chance to ask the next question. Audrey interjected. She waved her hand dismissively. My husband is just being modest, she said. He has always been an upright person. I wasn't the first one to rush in. Everyone knows he is. He protected not only all of us. However, his actions did not cause serious harm to the patient. It relieves a mother from worrying about her child. My husband is the truly kind and brave person. He is willing to protect everyone. I gave Audrey a strange look. This is the fame she has always longed for, served on a silver plate. Why does she keep pressuring me? If only she had listened to me back then. A beautiful CEO perspective. If she did that, she would be more famous than me. Is she afraid of being retaliated against for taking all the credit? I pondered for a while. Then it was decided to keep it. He tried to steer the conversation back to her in the remainder of the interview, but I'd do it every time. She would insist that all the credit belonged to me. The reporter couldn't help but laugh. It's obvious that you to have a good relationship. Always consider the other person first. Are you married? Audrey blushed slightly. Not yet, but I think it will be soon. We will definitely invite everyone to eat cake. I didn't want to embarrass her on TV, so I just smiled and didn't say anything. After the interview, our booth was surrounded by a crowd. Most people are not there to apply for a job. They wanted to take a selfie with me and Audrey. I felt bad refusing, but Audrey thrived. She filmed the video and posted it to her Kai account. That day flew by with all sorts of activities coming one after another. But when I looked at those vibrant faces, I realized how beautiful and moving they were. I felt tears welling up in my eyes. Being alive is the most wonderful thing in the world. The job fair is over. And so is my time here, back in the office. My colleagues were very excited, planning to go out for drinks, celebrating being on TV. They asked me if Audrey and I would come. Someone hit the guy who asked the question. Are you stupid? We single people drink to have fun. We don't want to flood a couple's happiness in front of us. The man smiled sheepishly, and the group left. Audrey watched them leave and chuckled softly. Then he turned to me. She took my hand and led me to her office. She took out a delicate little metal lighter. Its surface is engraved with a shield pattern. I made this the day I came back, she said softly. I know, in this life, just like last time, you will risk your life to save me, or to save everyone. I just want you to know that I will protect you too. I didn't take it. Instead, as silently, I took out the printed resignation letter from my bag. Audrey looked at it. A faint, melancholic smile appeared on her lips. But when she smiles, tears welled up in my eyes and spilled over. Draw down her cheek. She tried to remain calm. Don't let yourself completely break down. Leo, why won't you tell me what I did wrong? I sighed and reached out to wipe the tears from her face. Shouldn't you be the one telling me why you killed me? In our past lives. Her eyes widened. She sobbed and shouted loudly. I don't understand why you keep saying I killed you. I tried my best to support us. I took care of you after I got home. When you were sick. I wish I could take this pain away from you. You call that murder? What exactly did I do? Makes you feel like I want to hurt you. I gritted my teeth, my voice icy. Just before I died, I saw that you threw away the special medicine my doctor prescribed. You threw it in the trash can. You know very well what you originally wanted to give me. Audrey stared blankly, speechless. Seeing the extremely shocked expression on her face, my heart has finally shattered into a million pieces. I turned and left, but she grabbed my shirt. She cried and pounded my back with her fists. It's all because of you. I was stunned. Don't you know anything about your own body? She sobbed. The spleen is the largest lymphatic organ in the human body, not a digestive organ. Every time you go to the doctor, you insist that your fever is caused by digestive problems. I told you it wasn't like that. But you just won't listen. What do I do? Your fever is because your immune system is damaged. No spleen, the cause of your death. What would happen if we didn't have the body's largest lymphatic organ? Your immunity has disappeared. It triggered a massive cytokine storm. This only happens after you die. I realized. I really should give him a wake mind a sub call. Get into your stubborn mind faster. In that case, perhaps you wouldn't leave me all alone. I was stunned. I always thought that a bad spleen would only make a person weak. But I died from a complete breakdown of my immune system. That nightmare fueled my hatred for 10 years. It was all a misunderstanding. Audrey fell on me. She weakly punched my shoulder with her fist. She called me an idiot. Hesitantly, I raised my arms and slowly wrapped them around her. She held her tightly. I don't know how long we stood there. She cried for a long time before she couldn't cry anymore. I carried her to the sofa. Pat her back gently, like you would a child. She wrapped her arms around my neck, then suddenly kissed me. When are we getting married? I looked at her. Did we eventually get divorced? Audrey stared at me for a second. Then, through her teary eyes, a faint smile appeared. She playfully tugged at my ear. You cheated. The previous life is the previous life. I want to have another wedding. A bigger and prettier one, etc. She said, step back. I need to film this. Before you do something foolish again, let this serve as proof. And they tried to deny it. She took out her phone, but when she opened TikTok, she was so shocked her jaw almost dropped. Celebration video. The video she filmed at the job fair went viral online. But the comments section is completely out of control. Sir, please open a master class on how to marry a rich man and a beautiful CEO. I will pay the tuition. I'll pay $20. Let me make a cameo appearance in the next episode. I am a conscientious and responsible servant. I urge Leo to create an instructional video on the proper use of handcuffs. If you still have any questions, just search for it online. Leo Carter pink handcuffs. Audrey and I exchanged a glance. A sly smile appeared on her face. Does this mean we can become online influencers and sell products? I gently patted her bottom. Stop fooling around. Give me your phone. She pouted, but still obediently sat on my lap. Give me your phone. I opened the camera app and switched it to selfie mode. They took a picture of the two of us snuggling close together. Let time stand still in this perfect and beautiful moment. The next morning, I got up and stretched. Immediately, Audrey clung to me like a vine. She wrapped her arms tightly around my neck. She was clinging to me. I quickly grabbed her to prevent her from falling. Darling, she whispered in my ear. That voice was so sweet it gave me goosebumps. I gently put her back on the bed. You're pregnant? How can you act like this? Be a good girl and stay at home. I'll bring you some delicious food back. Audrey began to toss and turn in bed, weeping like a tragic star. No, I want to go to work with you. I just want to hear these words with you. I couldn't help but pinch her lightly. You call your crazy plans effective? I said angrily. Do you know what they call me online now? Greek god of handcuffs. I'm embarrassed to tell others what my job entails. Making a living. You want to make us both a laughing stock in the public eye. Audrey pretended not to have said anything. She continued to struggle, tossing and turning in bed. He called me darling over and over again. She wore me down to exhaustion. I eventually gave in and let her get dressed. Come with me. She immediately jumped up, laughing and cheering like a child. As I looked at her, my eyes became misty. In my past life, she always smiled gently at me. She had never been so carefree and happy. I know it is, because she had been pregnant. She carried all the burdens on her shoulders. My only wish in this life is for her to be happy. I will be there too. Always protect her.